This video is on working with view groups in AQUARIUS WebPortal. So let's just shoot over to have a look. Okay, so you'll notice I'm in the admin section under the security tab. On the left navigation panel, you should be on the subgroup view groups. Alright, so you can see I've got a couple set up in the system. The anonymous one comes out of the box, and that's basically if you have a public setting web portal, then you can set up those settings associated with the anonymous view group. But I'm going to set up a new one just to show you what it's all about. Okay, so for the identifier, I'm going to set up wastewater first. I'm going to do two groups here, the wastewater view group and another one for the water group. So wastewater, I can set up certain people for this one. So here I'll just put in Pete Moss. He can join the wastewater group, and then there are 3 levels of access that we need to configure for this whole view group. So it's basically a collection of users in the system, a group of users, and we want to limit this access. So let's say if we limit the locations, we do this by folder. So I've set up a security folder called ABC here, and we could just add the security folder, ABC. And that means that any locations that are in the ABC folder, that's what the wastewater view group would see. So that's how that works. Full access to parameters. Okay, so I mean, yes would of course just be everything in the system. But if I say no, I can go in and just look at say certain parameters that are in the system. So let's just see. So if I have E. coli, for instance. So I would go through this list one by one and add in what we want to actually have for parameters in the system. So this would be just a full list for this wastewater group. And then the last one, of course, is just for approval levels. Now in our system we've got, let's see how many, 1, 2, 3. So this is right out of the box, working in review and improved. And so I don't really want to limit any of these coming through, so I'm just going to say give access for all levels, and then there's really no filtering of that. Okay, so that's basically the ABC. I'll just make a little quick note. ABC folder, and parameters. Okay. So we'll just create that. Now, so when it's created, the details are up here, but you're presented with a whole bunch of settings, and you think, well, what's this all about? In the configuration setting for WebPortal, we have the global settings, which relate to every user in the system. However, if we want to override any of these, we can go to this view group here and navigate through to all the global settings that can be overridden. And you can see down here there are 204. Let me just shoot back over to global settings and just see how many there are total there. So 330. So of that 330, only 204 can be overridden. So if I go back to view groups, wastewater, and overview. All right, so here's this thing. So let's see if I just scroll down here. Yeah, any one of these things. Of course, you can just do your standard filtering and settings here. And when you do an override, you would put it here. And setting can be overridden. It is yes, and so that's where something could be overridden. So this would be like, say, a default for a chart title text. This would what we put on for this view group. All right, so I won't do any settings there. I just wanted to explain that and how that works. So if I go back to the list and I want to set up another one for the water group, I can just take that and clone it. And so in this case, it'll just be water. So I'll just say drinking water, and again, we just have that. Now I'm going to change for the drinking water. I'm going to give it actually full access to all locations, and then for them I'll give them full access to all parameters as well. So that'll be a little bit different. So I'll just say full access. So full access. On the whole, we're not going to filter any of the locations, parameters, or approval levels, but what we would do is set some of these settings just for them. All right, so that's basically how view groups work. Now, just one extra note about settings. There are three levels of settings. I mentioned the global settings, which apply across the whole system. View groups, which apply to groups of users. But then, of course, you can go into the account settings themselves and make setting changes just for the individual user. So that's something that I just wanted to make a note of at the very end there. All right, so hopefully that's going to be useful for you as you set up view groups and set up what anonymous users and your different groups of users will see. So thank you very much for working with Aquarius.